Fans of the Kung Fu Panda movies sure do have a lot to celebrate this month, with Netflix releasing a full series television show based on the films. Catch all the Easter eggs you could have possibly missed while watching Kung Fu Panda the Dragon Knight series.
Wonderful. I do so love to put my trust into the hands of children's entertainment.
Number 1. Weasels. Have you met Thanos?
Doesn't matter.
The new villains in the Kung Fu Panda the Dragon Knight are truly downright dastardly weasels. Like, literally. The two villains are a sister and brother weasel duo named Veruca and Klaus Dumont. These two want nothing more than to destroy the Earth, and they do so by harnessing the Gauntlet of Power, which sure looks a lot like Thanos' glove in Avengers Endgame. Like, a lot.
Fake.
It's a golden Hulk-sized glove that definitely could fit in some Infinity Stones if put up to the challenge. It's nice to know that there is most likely a Marvel Kung Fu Panda mashup in our animated dreams future. Thoughtful sigh. Number 2. Getting your ducks, we mean weapons, in a row. While Veruca and Klaus are busy homaging Thanos' glove, they are going for the whole kit and caboodle and are inspired by those Infinity Stones as well. The two villain weasels are also feeling the need to destroy the world, like every good villain is supposed to, but can only do so if they collect 4 specific weapons, which is direct inspo from Avengers Endgame and Thanos' need for 6 Infinity Stones. We sure do hope that the evil duo doesn't succeed in their findings, because we can't lose Iron Man again.
What?
Spoiler, sorry. Number 3. Copyright don't mean a thing.
Okay, little harsh.
Like any good TV show, movie, book even, you need more than one villain. And while Veruca and Klaus are working overtime in the Destroying the World department, Cloaky, or Colin, his actual name, the others on the show have taken to calling him Cloaky due to, well, the cloak that he wears, is the other villain of the show, giving Poe major issues.
Any chance you're here to break me out? That's a no!
However, this Colin/Cloaky may seem familiar. Very familiar. In fact, he's clearly a nod to Marvel villain and Thor sibling Loki. Both villains wear a large cloak-like robe, an antlers headpiece, and, well, Cloaky sure does sound like Loki. The writing's on the wall, people. Hoping Tom Hiddleston knows that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Number 4. Feeling hot. Netflix's successful, albeit strangely premised show, The Floor is Lava, made cultural waves when it first premiered. We all love a game show inspired by a game siblings play when it's rainy outside and nothing is on TV. Cut to Kung Fu Panda the Dragon Knight series, recreating the premise of The Floor is Lava.
Sweet!
But this time, the floor is actually lava. We love it when creatives raise the stakes. Now, if the show The Floor is Lava wants to be inspired by Kung Fu Panda in some sort of quid pro quo and release some snakes onto the floor of the show, we wouldn't say no.
Let's do this.
Number 5. The History of Weasels.
Let's catch some weasels.
With a brand new story of the Kung Fu Panda series means enduring brand new villains. In The Dragon Knight, the new villains Klaus and Veruca Dumont happen to be portrayed by the animal the weasel. And very fun fact, this is not the first time weasels have stepped into a villain role in an animated feature. Klaus and Veruca are continuing the long line of animated villains who happen to be weasels, starting way back in 1952 when a weasel appeared as a crook in the Goofy-led movie How to Be a Detective. And while the weasel wasn't seen again until the Disney version of A Christmas Carol, the stage was set for weasels to portray, well, Weasley characters. So Veruca and Klaus are a part of a very hallowed lineage. Wonder how they'll stack up to great weasel characters of history.
Not very intimidating.
No!
Number 6. Sometimes inspiration can come from within, and sometimes it's clearly ripped off.
You got insult game, I'll give you that.
Lovingly inspired by movies that have come before it. Just ask Quentin Tarantino. Kung Fu Panda the series continues in the tradition of being inspired by 70s kung fu features such as The Fearless Hyena, directed by Jackie Chan. And as fans may already know, Chan also stars in Kung Fu Panda as Monkey. In fact, the Kung Fu Panda movie has a scene lifted right out of The Fearless Hyena, where Po is attempting to eat and Shifu keeps knocking the food out of his hands with a chopstick. Number 7. Hunka Hunka Burnin' Giant Rock Monster. Did you know Kung Fu Panda has a nod to the girl who no one knows how far she can go?
For real?
Near the end of Moana, there's the climactic scene of her finally standing up to Taka and imparting the wisdom to the terrifying rock monster that she is someone else inside. Something in common with Po, who also had to overcome what people thought of him. But as can be seen in the new series The Dragon Knight, Po and new character Luthera are also on a journey to defeat a giant rock monster. And much like Moana, Po discovers that maybe defeating the monster with violence isn't the tactic to go on here. Because, hey, maybe the answer shouldn't ever be violence.
The obstacle is the path. The monster isn't guarding the city, the monster is the city!
Number 8. Ice Age. Another movie filled with animals trying to be the best they can be while overcoming obstacles is not just Kung Fu Panda, but the immensely successful Ice Age franchise. And everyone's fave saber-toothed squirrel may not show up wreaking havoc in the Kung Fu Panda world like he does in Ice Age, but there is a nod to his acorn scurrying ways. In the new series of Kung Fu Panda, while there are no Arctic cliffs, there are a lot of rocky cliffs, and it might be too much of a coincidence the way the cliff takes a beating and then completely shatters to perfect comic effect. Sounds like Kung Fu Panda needs to add saber-toothed squirrel fighting style to their martial arts roster. Number 9. Building a mystery. Most of Kung Fu Panda's architecture and buildings within each frame of the movies are as accurate to IRL as possible, and it's not any different in the Dragon Knight series. Take note of any buildings in the background because the tiers will for sure be an odd number. This is typical of Chinese pagoda architecture, which almost always has an odd number of tiers, usually between 3 and 13. So don't get it twisted, Kung Fu Panda is here to give true realness, even if it's a story about a panda bear doing kung fu. Number 10. The Threat of Birds. Kung Fu Panda the Dragon Knight may not have been directed by Alfred Hitchcock, for obvious reasons, but that doesn't mean that they don't know how to use birds in a menacing, albeit truly hilarious way. In a pivotal moment in the series, you can see birds circling Po, and then a bit of tense time was had.
Oh no, we're not gonna kill you. We're just gonna wait for you to die.
And while that may be spooky, it's also spookily familiar. In the 2006 animated musical Happy Feet, the minor bad guys swoop in and just happen to be threatening birds. Hopefully Po remembers that he is a giant bear and not a tiny penguin and threatens these winged villains right back.
Don't even think about it.
Nah, it's cool. I got all day.
Number 11. Food for thought. When it comes to food envy, Kung Fu Panda can make any fan watching hungry with desire for noodles.
This is really good.
From the first film on, watching Po consume and make noodles is sure to make any foodie salivate. In Kung Fu Panda the Dragon Knight, they took it up a notch from noodles to dumplings, which may be a small nod to the Pixar hit Turning Red, another animated feature that features Chinese heritage in the forefront and showcases animated dumplings that look so delicious you want to jump into the screen and chomp down.
Perfect.
Yes.
Spin-off idea, having Po and Mei Lin do a travel food blog show.
Deal.
Would subscribe. Number 12. The Last Panda. While we mentioned before that Kung Fu Panda was directly influenced by kung fu movies of the 70s, it also has been inspired by more modern fare such as the popular Raya the Last Dragon, which surprisingly has nothing to do with the popular celebrity dating app of the same name. And if you watch closely enough, there are some fighting and training montages in The Dragon Knight that are giving real Last Dragon vibes. Not to mention Po is fighting in the dragon style of martial arts, and Raya is a dragon who by default fights in that style.
And offer her something nice and go, hey, wanna help us save the world?
Because dragon representation matters. Number 13. Story time.
Huh?
Executive producer Peter Hastings said he was excited to get back into the Kung Fu Panda world to really modernize the story and make it applicable for TV. Inspired by the forward-thinking stories of anime like Full Metal Alchemist and Given, Hastings was eager to include the subtle storytelling in the new series.
Fictional drawings for children.
We prefer the term graphic novel, and it's based on fact.
However, he had to stay mindful that he was creating a story for kids, considering the heavy subject matter of these stories. More like Kung Blue Panda. Because he's sad. Get it? Number 14. Tenacious D, more like Tenacious Cast. While comedy fans and animation fans rejoice at the return of Jack Black in the role of the panda with the moves, Po, unfortunately not all the original stars have returned. While big A-listers have left the franchise this time around, like Angelina Jolie and Seth Rogen due to other projects, seriously, check out Seth Rogen's pottery online. Worth missing a voice gig over those pots. New stars are in the mix that fans are sure to fan over. Singer Rita Ora, This Is Us star Chris Gere, and prolific character actor James Hong all lend their voices to new and old characters that will surely delight fans. Hope you were able to keep up with the many Easter eggs the Kung Fu Panda series and movies add in to make fans super jazzed. Which Easter egg caught in your basket? Subscribe, comment, and like all things the Things animated.